Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Carolyn. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Women's Sports Weekly Pod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at womensportsweeklypod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on the Listener Experience Zone, the Les. We continue to look for a social media marketing intern. The application closes this Friday, April 17th. This is an unpaid internship, 15 to 20 hours per week, and it is remote. We are looking for a recent grad or current student in marketing, communications, or a related field to help us specifically with our Instagram and our TikTok and our overall social media strategy. So if you are that person or you know that person, please visit the link tree in our Instagram link tree bio or in the show notes of this episode and get your application in by this Friday.
Before we get into our episode, we wanted to share a tribute to my college basketball coach, Mary Beth Spirk, who passed away this past week after her battle with cancer over the past couple of years. And just seeing so many people that I played with or former players that I knew before my time, players after my time. My sister also played for Coach Spirk. It's just been awesome to see so many people share memories of her. She did impact countless lives. She was a coach at Moravian. It was Moravian College when I went there. It's now Moravian University for a total of 45 years.
It's really incredible.
Yeah. When she passed away, she was only 66 years old. She was set to retire completely as of May 1st. And as I said, she has been battling cancer for a few years now. And unfortunately, that battle did come to an end this week. So in her 45 years of coaching, she started out as an assistant coach at Moravian in 1981. And then 6 years later, she took over the head coaching role in 1987. She has the most wins of any coach at Moravian with 659 wins as a head coach, which is truly incredible. I was a senior when she got her 500th win.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, those memories have been coming back. I also coached under her, so I played under her from 2010 to 2014 when I went to school there, and then I came back as a grad assistant and coached under her from 2015 to 2018. And not only was she my coach, she was also a friend and a mentor. And I didn't stay in coaching, but obviously my love for sports is still very present. And I also just learned a lot from her that I was able to take to my career now, just different skills I learned from her and how to look at things differently. We talk about all the time how being an athlete can help you in the real world. Yep. Well, I believe that being a coach and being coached by a coach as well has been helpful. And yeah, she's just had a big impact on my life and so many people.
Yeah, your family's life. It's pretty incredible. Do you have a favorite memory from college with Coach Spirk?
One of the funniest memories that comes up as a player, and it has nothing to do with basketball, but
they usually don't.
I was underage, so I wasn't 21 yet, and I was in the grocery store, so pretty harmless, not doing anything, but I was buying chasers or mixers for going out that night, and we see Coach Spirk in the grocery store around the corner and come down our aisle. My teammates literally just dropped to the ground because we were so stunned we saw her in that aisle with the juices.
Who was it?
Katie O and Erica, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And of course there were seniors in the liquor store right next door, so you could put two and two together what was happening, and we were just so scared to be caught. And talk about making things obvious. But she knew how to mess around with us. Her favorite word was discretion, which even after I graduated, she would still DM me sometimes saying discretion, especially if she saw me out with college friends on my story.
For me, so we started dating right when you went back to grad school. So you were a grad assistant, which is so great that when you think about all the things that have to come together in order for you to get where you are, I'm like, oh my gosh, Coach Spirk gave Danielle the opportunity to come back to school when you were teaching and you hated teaching. And she was like, you can come and be a grad assistant and you can get your MBA here.
Yeah, I reached out to her and I didn't know what the answer was going to be. And just so happened that something had just opened.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And like all these things align. And then you're able to get your master's and switch your career and have that opportunity to coach your sister at Moravian for a little bit.
Yep.
And then the team does a international travel every 4 years. And I know that when I met you, you talked about like how great that was to go as a team. And now you were getting to do it as a coach and you invited me to come. And so like, I was just so excited to get to go on that trip. Where did we go?
Liverpool and London.
Yes. And we had such a fun time, and Coach Spirk's partner was there and her family members were there, and we were just like hanging out and the girls were playing, but we just had the most amazing time. And I always look back on that as we were together at that time. And I was like, wow, Danielle and I really travel well together. It was just like this kind of pivotal moment in our relationship where I was like, I really love this person. And yeah, I just am like, oh, these people in our lives, these coaches in our lives have such an impact on us. And it goes so far beyond the basketball.
Yes.
It's really unfortunate to lose someone who had such an impact on the many people she interacted with, whether they were players or other people or her work in fundraising. Like it's a lot, and it's a huge loss to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're exactly right. She gave me the opportunity of a lifetime to be able to go back to grad school. I was only 1 year separated from when I graduated, and still a lot of players I played with and were friends with were still on the team. And for her to trust me to come back and not be partying with my old teammates versus being a coach, I owe her a lot for that.
Yeah.
And I just know how many people still maintain such a close relationship with her. And that just says a lot about her and her impact on people. The other thing I need to shout out, and we've talked about this before, in February, that is breast cancer awareness in the basketball community. I feel like a lot of sports always have a pink out game, but basketball is typically February, and a lot of times teams just wear the pink, raise maybe a little money, and that's it, right? Not much goes into it. But for Moravian, this was Coach Spirk's passion. She had a family member who lost their life to cancer earlier in her life, and she was passionate about raising money for the KYOW Fund, which is breast cancer fund. KYOW was a coach at NC State, and this fund has been around for a long time. And some of my favorite memories as a player, as a coach, and just as an alum were these pink out games. Not only was this fun, but under Coach Spirk, Moravian raised the most money in Division III for 18 years.
Yeah, it's
in a
incredible.
row. And Moravian is not a big school.
No.
What is it? Is it even hit 2,000 students? Maybe now we're at 2,000, but it wasn't that when I went there. And for her to be able to lead the way in raising that much money every year is really incredible as well.
Yeah. And this year at the Final Four, Coach Spirk wasn't able to make it, but every year they bring out breast cancer survivors and those who like make an impact on the KYOW Foundation at the Final Four. And the assistant coach, Amy Endler, was out there representing for Coach Spirk. And it was just such a nice moment. I'm going to cry, but it's just like, it's really nice to have that community and what she was able to do. I just know how much of an impact she's had on the community. And I just feel so much for her family. And she meant a lot to her players, but she meant a tremendous amount to her family. So just sending them lots of love.
Yeah, there's no words for that. And with the KYOW Fund, I do want to say that her family wants to continue that impact. And instead of flowers, instead of other ways to honor Coach Spirk, they are asking for contributions to the KYOW Fund. Donations can be made under Mary Beth Spirk's name in memory of her. And you could do that at www.kyow.com.
It would be the perfect way to honor
her.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's been a tough week. There's been a lot going on. I knew she wasn't doing well. She had to retire early. And I know at the Final Four, there were many alum there who knew things were not good. And I just guess I didn't expect things to happen so fast. And cancer sucks.
Cancer's the worst.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes away people too early and too soon. And it feels very unfair. And it is unfair.
Yeah. But Coach Spirk will be remembered by her players forever, and just feel lucky to have known her and to have played under her and coached under her and learned from her, and can't ever take that away.
Yeah. Moravian basketball brought you your best friends, Erica and Laura, and it's just like all of these things that come together and all of these pieces that have to fit into place. It's just really, really beautiful. And so people's impact goes so far beyond just like who they talk and interact with. It just ripples out, and it's very clear that Coach Spirk's legacy has done that.
Yeah. And it's just so crazy. We were watching the Pat Summitt documentary over the weekend.
Yep.
And this was after we learned of Coach Spirk's passing. And the whole time I'm watching that documentary, I was literally thinking of Coach Spirk, because I'm like, the impact Pat Summitt had on Tennessee and her players is very similar to how Coach Spirk had an impact at Moravian and her players. And of course, just the closeness of all of it. It was just very emotional. And like, I just kept thinking about her, and I was like, there's just so many similarities there. It's just crazy.
Yeah. And it's incredible. It's incredible to have that type of career in Division III and to make, it's all just really cool.
Yeah. And I didn't mention, but she was also the head athletic director. So she just made such a huge impact at Moravian.
And a champion of women's sports. We love it.
Yeah. So we wanted to honor Coach Spirk. And with that, we're going to go into our highlight reel and the rest of our episode.
Let's do it. The U.S. Women's National Team beat Japan 2-1 on Saturday for their 10th straight win, which is the first time the U.S. Women's National Team had 10 or more straight wins since 2023.
Rose Lavelle also had some milestones in this game. This was her 100th start for the U.S. Women's National Team. And in her 100th start, she had a goal, which was her 28th international goal. And she also had an assist in this game.
We love that. At the 9-minute mark, Rose Lavelle scored for the U.S. off a free kick from Sam Coffey that was sent to Trinity Rodman, and then Trinity Rodman gave it to Rose Lavelle for her to score.
Yeah, and then for the second goal, Lindsey Heaps scored 3 minutes into the second half, and this was off an assist from Rose Lavelle, making the score 2-0, and this was Lindsey Heaps' 40th goal for the U.S. So obviously these two have a huge impact for the U.S. Women's National Team and are the two scorers for this game, helping the U.S. win.
Japan did score in the 61st minute. It was a goal from Riko Ueki, who scored on a header for the one and only goal for Japan.
And another thing to highlight for the U.S. Women's National Team is the return of Sophia Wilson, who started for the first time since giving birth, and this was her first appearance since October 2024. So that's a big return for her.
Emma Hayes holding Sophia Wilson's daughter during practice. It was so cute. That baby's so chunky.
I know. Those videos were really cute, and I just love it. I just love when you can see women coaches be so dominant and so successful and then still give the time of day to their player's daughter. And I'm just like, I just love that.
I'm like, no more male doctors. No more male coaches. We need only women. And I think you need both. But there is just a difference in how you can interact with someone when they know what you've been through.
For sure. But as of today, there's one more match in this series between the U.S. Women's National Team and Japan, and it is here in Colorado. We are pumped.
We're so excited to be there.
Yes, cannot wait. That is our highlight for the week. Let's get into some updates before we go into our deep dive, starting with Run Club. We have Run Club this Thursday and every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time at the 99ers Sports Bar. If you listen to our podcast every week, we share a secret word, and if you share that word with the bartender, you could get 50% off your first draft. This week, the secret word is...
Let's do Greyhound. In honor of the Moravian Greyhounds, which Coach Spirk coached.
I love it. Greyhound.
We also need to take this time to ask you to please rate and subscribe to our podcast. We see the reviews coming in. We are so thankful for them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love to do this podcast and we want to continue to do it. We create, produce, and edit the podcast ourselves. So if you want to support us, please rate, subscribe, and give us a positive review. And most importantly, share this podcast with people you love. Thank you to everyone who has rated the podcast so far. If you send us a screenshot of your 5-star rating, either via Instagram DM or via email, we will send you a Women's Sports Weekly sticker for free in the mail.
And with that, we're going to get into our deep dive, which, you know, we shared a few weeks ago. March Madness was going to go right into April Madness. The free agency for the WNBA has been live, and it's been wild. Again, this is after record-breaking CBA, and players are getting that bag.
They are getting paid.
Every team looks entirely different. I guess last year was a bad time to buy a Skylar Diggins Storm uniform because, like most people, she's no longer there. And we will get into this, but we are just happy to see the players earning what they deserve.
Yes, and this is the updates as of Sunday. We know that this information is coming out fast and quick, so this is where we're at right now.
Yes.
Let's go team by team. So let's talk about the Atlanta Dream. And I'm saying it right now, the Atlanta Dream are winning the 2026 WNBA championship.
You're just saying that because you're a Dream fan.
I know, but they re-signed everyone. They were like, we love everyone here. They re-signed Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, Naz Hillman, Jordan Canada, Brianna Jones. And then they got a huge trade and got Angel Reese. They're winning it all.
So I was listening to Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston talk on their podcast about Angel Reese going to Atlanta and just talking about her and Bree Jones together because they were saying it's so hard to box out Bree Jones as it is. So it's like now you have two rebounding monsters down below. And just listening to them talk about that made me laugh because it's so true. That is, you're right. This team is stacked.
I'm really excited for them. And with the trade, the Sky received 2 first-round picks. And at first I was like, what is Chicago doing? This doesn't seem like a great idea. But Chicago's putting together a nice little roster as well.
Chicago's making me excited because if y'all listened to our podcast last year, we had a very unfortunate series of events where we were supposed to go to a Chicago Sky game. And due to multiple airlines being canceled, neither us or our friends like Santara, who we were supposed to go on that trip with, made it. So now I just keep spamming them with Chicago Sky stuff saying this is our year because, you know, Chicago Sky I think is going to be pretty good. And I just might be a fan because Skylar Diggins moved on.
Yes, Skylar Diggins signed with the Sky. Then Azari Stevens signed. Rickea Jackson was traded from the LA Sparks to the Chicago Sky. And that was in exchange for Ariel Atkins, who went to the LA Sparks. Then they added Dejanay Carrington to a 1-year contract. Their starting lineup could be Dejanay Carrington, Skylar Diggins, Rickea Jackson, Azari Stevens, and Camila Cardoso. It's not bad.
It's not bad. I think that could be a pretty good team right there. And then you have the Connecticut Sun, who, as we know, will no longer be the Connecticut Sun.
Yep.
But in future, they are switching over to Houston Comets. But for now, they will remain in Connecticut, and they are getting Brittany Griner.
Yes, and this is an interesting signing because Brittany Griner is born and raised in Houston. So she's playing a little bit of a long game here. She's going to go and play with the Connecticut Sun for their final season because the Sun will be sold to the Houston Rockets owner for $300 million, and they'll relocate to Houston for the 2027 season. In the 2026 season, they're going to play their final sunset season in Connecticut. So anyone who's signing with this team is thinking Houston, right? I feel like, unfortunately, the Connecticut Sun have been in this kind of weird state with the sale, but they're going to be headed to Houston. They'll be rebranded as the Houston Comets, and Brittany Griner is coming to the end of her career, and it will be really nice for her to end it out in Houston.
I know we've been having different conversations about Houston in general and what that means, but I was listening to Sid Colson and Nneka Agumbake speak on Sid and TP's podcast. They're pumped about the Comets because
they're from Texas too.
When the WNBA started, this was a team that was there, and they're just really excited for the comeback.
And the Comets won championships. Like, they were a great team. So for them to come back to Houston is nice. How it went down, a little murky. Maybe we can get into that in another podcast. Olivia Nelson-Ododo also signed with the Sun, but as of now, the Connecticut Sun still has some more work to do.
Yes, for sure. Then we have the Dallas Wings. So they are keeping 4-time WNBA All-Star Arike Gumbawale. She signed a 7-figure multi-year deal to return to the Dallas Wings. And Arike was extended a core qualifying offer by the Wings, and this makes her eligible for the $1.4 million Supermax in 2026. She is going to take less than that for the team to be able to build a quality roster around her, and she is not the only one doing this.
Also for the Wings, Jessica Shepard, she signed a contract with the Dallas Wings, and then Alana Smith from the Minnesota Lynx signed a contract with the Dallas Wings, and Paige Beckers must be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think they're going to be looking good. Then we have the Golden State Valkyries, who had their playoff run in their inaugural season last year. They have Veronica Burton, who is going to stay with them and signed a contract. Also, Kate Martin is staying, which...
Well, she has to stay because she's in her rookie contract unless she gets traded. But we know that there could be possibly something happening in between those two if you're on the TikToks and looking at all the gazes in between the two. So it's nice that they'll be together. And then Gabby Williams is planning to sign with the Valkyries.
I hate to see all the Storm leave, but Gabby does look good in purple.
Gabby looks good in anything, so she'll be fine.
She literally could wear a paper bag and look great.
For the Indiana Fever, Kelsey Mitchell signed a 1-year Supermax deal. This made me really upset when I saw this, but she will earn more this year than in her 8 years with the Fever.
And you're saying you don't like this because she just played for 8 years and now she's going to make that in 1 year, which should have been happening all along.
Should have been happening all along. She is so essential to this Indiana Fever team. So I'm happy she's getting paid now. This is what the CBA was designed to do. Really, really happy for her. She deserves it. Lexi Hull is also staying with the Indiana Fever. And then Sophie Cunningham signed a 1-year deal to stay with the Fever as well. On top of that, they have Aaliyah Boston. They have Caitlin Clark. Monique Billings is going to the Indiana Fever. They're putting the pieces together. It's interesting to see these teams, with most players being a free agent, how they're building their roster.
Yeah, and then we go and take a look at the Las Vegas Aces. We have Chelsea Gray and Asia Wilson staying put. You have Jewel Lloyd on a 3-year deal. She also just came from the Storm. And then Jackie Young signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah, some of these teams are not messing with a bad thing. So Las Vegas is trying to stay pretty similar. Atlanta Dream are trying to stay pretty similar. It's interesting to see how this is working. For the LA Sparks, Kelsey Plum agreed to a $999. I don't even know how to say this.
$999,999 dollar agreement.
Is that how you say it?
I think so. I think it's ridiculous that they didn't just do $1 million.
She signed that contract to return to the Sparks for the 2026 season. She was eligible for the Supermax contract of $1.4 million, but she accepted a lower salary to try to work within the LA Sparks salary cap and build up the roster a little bit. So with that, the LA Sparks signed Erica Wheeler. De'Erica Hamby is staying, which is huge. Ariel Atkins, they received as part of the Rakia Jackson trade because Rakia is going to Chicago. And then Nneka Ogwumike is coming from Seattle and returning back to the LA Sparks. On top of that, they have Cameron Brink.
I just loved how the internet broke when everyone thought Nneka was going to the Minnesota Lynx because of that balloon charade and welcome Nneka. And then she ends up going to the Sparks. I just laughed at that.
Yeah, some of the teams were trying to get her to come and they were putting on little shows, but Nneka goes to LA.
Then you have the Minnesota Lynx. We have Nafisa Collier staying, who she's coming off double ankle surgery. She was just in Sports Illustrated's swimsuit photo shoot, and I'm laughing because she was literally like in a wheelchair still.
No.
Yeah, I
see
saw
this.
in the background they were still rolling her around in the wheelchair, and then she just looks hot in her bathing suit. I'm like, what is happening? But anyways, hope she is back and ready for action with her ankles. I don't know what that will look like, but she's staying there. Then you have Courtney Williams, who signs a 2-year max contract, and Kayla McBride is also returning to the Lynx.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Stud Buds are now separated, with Natisha Heidemann headed to the Seattle Storm. The Lynx are going to look a little bit different this year.
Yeah, they will.
With the New York Liberty, Satu Sabali and Sabrina Ionescu will be reunited because Satu Sabali signed with the New York Liberty. They played together at Oregon. They never got their national championship because of COVID. Sabrina likes to always say that they would have won. TBD if that would have actually happened. But maybe they'll get a WNBA championship back together on the Liberty. Jonquel Jones also signed with the New York Liberty, and Brianna Stewart plans to stay as well.
Yeah, I think the Liberty did the Sabali sisters a little dirty.
I know.
Got rid of one Sabali and got with another.
With the Phoenix Mercury, as of right now, we haven't seen a ton of action. So by the time this episode comes out, I'm sure we'll see some, but not too much going on there. And in the Portland Fire, our expansion team, we have a lot going on.
Yeah, you have Bridget Carlton, who signed a core contract. You have Carly Samuelson.
And then the following players were acquired during the expansion draft: Haley Jones, M. Angsler, Chloe Bibby and Shug Sutton will also be playing for the Portland Fire.
And then you have the Seattle Storm. Natisha Heidemann signed a contract with them, leaving stud bud Courtney Williams, as you said. And staying with the Storm, you have Ezzy Magmagor, Dom Malanga. So they're staying. And then you're adding Steph Dolson from the Mystics.
Toronto they're going to be my second favorite team. The Toronto Tempo. Brittany Sykes signed a contract with them. Marina Mabry signed a contract, and these are 2-year max contracts for the both of them. And I freaking love Brittany Sykes, and you love Marina, and Marina's just fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And then Izzy Harrison signed a contract with the Toronto Tempo. Shakira Austin is also planning to sign with the Tempo. And I'm calling it right now.
No, I said this. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Go ahead.
You're stealing my thunder.
Go ahead.
I said having Marina and Shakira on the same team is going to be a bloodbath because those two go at other people. And I don't mean physically. Well, sometimes physically. Yeah. But they will also cut you with their words. So watch out for anyone playing the Tempo.
They're going to have the most technicals in the league. Yeah. The Toronto Tempo, I'm calling it right now, will have the most technicals in the 2026 season if Shakira Austin and Marina Mabry are playing together.
That's a dirty combo.
And then Niara Sabally from New York, now over to the Toronto Tempo. And then finally, the Washington Mystics, again, a team as of right now not doing too much. They're just filled with rookies who are now no longer rookies. They'll be entering into their sophomore season. Georgia Amor, Sonia Citron.
But Georgia kind of is a rookie because she was out last year with an injury.
And I hope she stays on the team.
Yeah.
So some teams making some big moves, some teams still dragging their feet a little bit. But let me just open my phone and see if there's been any other updates. Let's see.
I'll just say it now. There's going to be plenty of movement since this episode because we are recording on Sunday. We will try to keep up as best as we can. We also have the WNBA draft this past Monday night, which we'll discuss next week.
Katie Lou is back with Seattle.
Oh, there you go.
Katie Lou Samuelson back with Seattle. And it looks like that's it for now, but we will miss some more. And yes, next week we will talk WNBA draft. We will talk anything we missed, but lots of movement. You got to be up on the socials to see it all happening. We'll try to condense it and make it look like full team rosters for you.
Yes. And with that, what are you looking forward to this week, Carolyn?
We mentioned it earlier, but the U.S. women's national team is playing their third and final match versus Japan on Friday, April 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern time at Dick's Sporting Goods here in Denver. Technically, Commerce City, Colorado, a little bit outside of Denver. We will be there. Looking forward to it. Make sure you watch as well. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the PWHL. Minnesota Frost will play the Boston Fleet today, Wednesday, April 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Boston will need to face Montreal this Friday, April 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And these games will likely determine the top seed for playoffs, who will earn the opportunity to select their semifinal opponent, which I always forget that happens in the PWHL. All three of these teams already clinched a playoff spot, so it's really just to see who's going to get the number one seed.
Yes. So Boston, Montreal, Minnesota are towards the top of the table, and they're going to be fighting it out in pretty much this week to see who's number one. That is it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports and share the podcast with your friends. Rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us.